What is up, TradingView? I am back. It was a long 3 days away from the market. I didn't drop anything yesterday. I was on the way back from a secluded place in Idaho, and I'm back at the home, and we are able to record a video. So today I'm going to be breaking down none other than XAU USD, aka gold, aka GC1. If you trade micros, MGC, I think I'm not going to go down the whole list actually. But hopefully you've had an amazing day. And without further ado, let's jump into this thing. First things first, I am going to do what? I'm dropping down from the top. So I'm going to zoom out. We're going to start on our daily time frame. That is always the first thing you're going to see me do because it is good to have this thing in retrospect. And also, by the way, if you look, I just released a published idea about this chart. After you watch the video, this will kind of give you a great walkthrough of how I build up that analysis. And then you can go into my published ideas, and I have a great breakdown of what I'm kind of expecting and what I'm looking for to be able to place a trade in the market and make a informed, educated, and very managed risk trade. So starting off on the daily, where are we at? Well, the first thing that I'm spotting on the daily when I do this is this zone right here where we have rejections off the top, okay? And we're just going to exclude the wicks. Rejection here, we got a rejection here, rejection here, 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 and now we have a small rejection here. So as you can see, this is a major support / resistance area inside of the market on the daily time frame. Our daily didn't really give us too much to go off of. So we're going to be a little more patient just today, and then maybe tomorrow and Thursday looking to take an opportunity in the market. Look, you don't need to trade every single day. You just need to make sure that you're taking the right trades, and you can reduce your trades from 40 to 50 trades a week down to 10 trades a week, and you have less risk on the table. You're making better educated decisions. And not only that, but you've now learned the valuable thing called patience in the market. So as we drop down to the 4-hour, you can see we had the rejection here off of the trend, which gave us our first flag here. And then now we just got a bit of a rejection down here on the bottom, starting the bottom formation of a flag. And this is the 4-hour time frame, so this is still a higher time frame, but we're just barely below the zone, and we didn't impulsively break through the support and resistance zone. We kind of haphazardly broke through the support and resistance zone, so I'm a little more cautious as we traded up into it and now slowly rejecting back down, which kind of gives me an indication that we may get a false breakout to the downside, and then we may get a strong push up to the top. And let me show you how I'm forming this analysis. If we look over here in the past, right here, look at it, what it's done every time it's reached this very similar point in the market. Yes, and now I want you to understand the market's in phases. This was like phase 1. This right here was like phase 2. And now we're kind of in the phase 3 area as far as it goes with downtrends and side of the market pattern, right? But look what it's done every time it's reached those areas. It's given some type of big consolidation area where it gives us a clear indication. It's never left us guessing. You aren't missing out on trades. It gives you a clear formation of some form of reversal pattern or some type of continuation pattern within the market. Gold just very rarely does it leave you sitting on your hands wondering like, oh, I didn't see that. So in this situation, that's what I'm kind of picking up here is we're starting to get that center formation that we had in the previous boxes over here, right? Yeah, it's in a different area, but it's the same type of price pattern formation that it gives. So that's the first thing I'm spotting out. And the second thing I'm looking at is this right here, this 4 hour liquidity zone. We never got a break of it, but the market's imperfect. Just because it didn't touch it doesn't mean, like, yes, it eventually will get back down to that 4 hour liquidity zone, but it doesn't have to right away. It could play around, give us some sort of consolidation, maybe a little bit of a push higher, and then give us a drop. But I want to show you what I find really helpful. Some people have a better time finding bullish trends. Some people have a better time finding bearish trends. And for myself, I have a really good time of spotting like bullish trends. So when I'm in the scenario like right now, where and particularly in the bullish trend scenario, I have a really good time of spotting like ascending channels. And within an ascending channel identifies two things for me, either a continuation or a reversal, but that also depends on the phase the market's in and also what point of structure the market is actually inside of. Is it near a top, or is it just in the middle of somewhere? And right now we're kind of in the middle of somewhere, except we're not in a bullish trend. However, since I'm better at spotting bullish trends, here's what I'm going to do. Option I or Command I if you have a different console. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down one more time frame to better identify the flags that are inside of the market. And I immediately see the channel that I was having a hard time spotting inside of the 4 hour, and also having a hard time spotting inside of the there it goes, the bearish trend. So once I tighten this up, you can now see the structure that we're starting to form inside of the market. And let's just go with the Elliott's Wave. We have a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, we have a 5, which usually indicates we're going to have some type of, instead of continuation, maybe a little bit of a reversal, then a continuation before we head down. So it really fills out perfectly on our Elliott's Wave. And the more important thing is, I'm not a hardcore Elliott Wave trader. That's just something I immediately see. Like, I make the correlation in my mind when I'm drawing this type of ascending channel. I'm subconsciously and unconsciously identifying kind of where we're at inside of like the market as an impulse correction. And that's where we're at right now is we've had two really good strong sources of correction, kind of providing us our center structure to this channel where we could ultimately get the continuation after this next pullback. So I'm not going to draw a line or a trend line on this top because we're using this support and resistance zone right here. And what I've noticed is sometimes when you're in a uptrend or if you're in a downtrend within the market, you can have a better time spotting the trend, not on the bottom side if it's in an up, but on the top side if it's in an uptrend. More like something like this right here, right? We have a clear indication is really respected at the top of the trend line. But it's the same thing for the bottom. Sometimes it's easier to spot it on the bottom part of the trend line versus the top part of the trend line. It just depends, the phase of the market, but you just take the market for what it is, which is completely objective and does not care about your feelings. And I'm definitely right now waiting for the market to kind of give me an indication which way it wants to go. I would rather take a educated guess than a uninformed gamble. And that's where we're kind of sitting right now. We have this arch right here where it kind of shows price is not wanting to go down. And we got a smaller arch right here which usually gives an indication that price will probably want to go a little bit higher. Now where it wants to go, I don't know, but it could give us something, up in this area where we could look for some type of overall reversal. I don't know if it's going to give us that big of a pattern, but it very well could. Again, key here is not to force your opinion on the market, but to anticipate a move versus reacting on a move. And when we're anticipating a move, we can be a lot better to, pulling the gun from the hip per se. So yeah, that's where I'm seeing us right now in the market. And let's go ahead and mark this up together. So this is our descending. That is not spelled right. That's our descending channel right here. And then we have our first flag here. And we're starting to get our second bear flag right here. This not too early to call that flag that we're seeing right now, but you just have to be careful in situations like this because the market could just go ahead and drop. And I'm not going to be upset if it does. We're prepared for that as well, but we want to just make sure we're making an informed guess. We missed this area of support, which I guess if you tightened it up, it hit it right here. But I'm one for not skipping out on the trend lines but the wicks, because wicks show an area of where price came down to, which means it's just because it didn't fill a full body down there doesn't mean that it's not likely to go down there. And it never gave us a full body, but it left us this empty space. And in this situation, if we pop back up to the 4-hour, it never hit it. So this would be an area where we would look for a continuation or we would look for a strong reversal. And like I said, I'm not sure where the market wants to go right now. I do have a feeling that it wants to give us some type of move back up into this area. But that, like I said, it's just up for determination. I know you probably want someone to say, no, this is exactly what it's going to do, but I'm not that person. However, by not being that person, we are able to participate in some major moves on gold because of this way of thinking. So there's gold. Hopefully you took some notes because that was a really good idea and markup that we had right there. Go back and watch that one again. That's going to be a key. As you saw, this was our flag that we had on the dollar and it pushed up, and look what we just did. Let's go to our 4-hour time frame. We broke lower. Okay, we formed this like lower low in this area, but more importantly, on our lower time frame, look what it just did right here. We just got to break above, which gives me this indication that we might, not right away, but since we got a break above these areas, I bet we get a pullback back into here. And then during the latter part of the week, we start to get this push to the top side right here with some sort of flag giving us the indication that it's going to go higher in the dollar. Usually after it breaks a high in this area, it doesn't like to take off right away. It likes to give you the fake out, give us a little bit of a more fake out, then the pull back into these areas before going higher. So that's something I would definitely be looking and watching for, is how the dollar is moving this week. US 30, we're going to go ahead and drop down just immediately into our 1-hour. Break to go higher. We broke it to go higher, and I'm immediately seeing a flag in this area. Collected that high, collected this high to go higher. US 30 was some really good markups. I don't even trade US 30 that heavy, but we had some great markups last week on US 30 that I'm happy about. Okay, there's US 30. I'm not seeing a whole lot on. Now, NAS is a different story. Because because where we're at, we're in a stronger trend right now. Excuse me, let's see. Yeah, we're definitely in a stronger trend at the moment. According to this last push down, I would love to see some type of reversal back into this area just because it's such a strong support. I'd have to look in the past, which there's not going to be past, obviously, but I'd love to see some type of reversal into this area, giving us a bit of a steeper formation because this isn't really enough information to take an educated guess off of. It's kind of forming a wedge, but in these situations, you would get tagged in for the sell. Market goes higher, you start to buy into this area. It finally hits that market now, starts to reverse, and then you're kind of left with this weird pattern right here, which we trade, but we trade it because of the mass psychology that it offers. So there's NAS. Let's check out GBP USD. We had a beautiful test of the structure and then a drop last week. A flag here in this area. Great trading opportunity. This is what I'm looking for it to trade down into is 1.27780. Again, we gave this area last week in the market for where we would look for the market to reverse to. Euro USD is about to hit our take profit that we also again set the week prior before trading down into this. And yeah, it's about to hit take profit here, and then we would see how it reacts to this area. If it wants to kind of reverse, play around, give us a bit of a bigger pattern before dropping, or we could get a breakthrough, which we'd want a strong breakthrough, and then we would look for the first sign of continuation to take it lower to this area right here first, and then obviously down here to this area third, or I should say second. And then let's check on Tesla. Tesla, what you doing? Had a huge gap down. Let's check daily. Yeah, nothing too much on Tesla. I can't give you any information on Tesla. I'm not gonna lie to you. Kind of forming some type of flag. I can see just like roughly in my head, but that doesn't really mean anything. So I'm just gonna leave that puppy alone. I've already done my bidding off of Tesla this year. Like I said, I'm not sure if you saw any of the other recordings, but this is almost 3,000 points just off of Tesla in like 3 months. Crazy. NVIDIA, of course, it rejected this area that we talked about and is now kind of trickling lower. And the last one that we're going to check on is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is getting here very correctively at the moment. Getting here very correctively at the moment to the top of this channel, which again doesn't mean too much. This is a bull flag because we're in a bullish market and this is a bull flag. However, typically when we get in this area, we would look for a clear break above on Bitcoin. If you want to know if you should be buying, you'd look for a clear break above, wait for that next pullback it gives, and then I bet you could take it higher. However, if the market gives us a top here, comes back, rejects on the bottom, we could look for it to go lower. But that's it for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown. Again, here's gold. I got 17 seconds left. This was a really good chart review. We go over a lot of in-depth analysis on a broad range of pairs. And look for the published idea inside of my TradingView homepage. And until next tomorrow.